That was the first good night of sleep. Going to bed at the right time in a long time.
There's diapers in there. I'm not gonna mess with that.
This, I gotta get this under control. I'm not cutting it all off, but this is way too long. Oh my goodness. It's also really hot. My God. Hair is an excellent insulator. You should make coats made out of hair. I bet that would be really good. So I'm considering two things. One is just cutting it shorter so that I can have a small ponytail like I used to have. Or I cut it short enough that I don't even need to put it in a ponytail anymore. Not short like I used to have it, but shorter so that it's actually manageable without a tie. So we'll see. Okay, this is what I ended up doing. Shorter ponytail. Oh man, that's great. So nice. And then without it, it's like about that length. That's much more manageable. People will ask me about a couple of things and they'll always be like, whatever happened to this? Today I'm gonna address all of those, and starting with something that nobody's asked me about, but I find interesting. Whatever happened to that tree in the parking lot that got hit by lightning or got knocked over? That was the tree. They finally finished cleaning it up. This tree suffered some damage. You can kind of tell on the side there. And you can also see how open this side of the tree is. This tree is, it's gone. That's all that's left of it. So whatever happened to Willie the cat? Willie lives at this house now, and he's an indoor cat now. I never see him anymore. Occasionally he'll be stalking. But who was Willie the cat? Willie the cat was an outdoor cat that was bought by the people who owned the house to try and take care of pests in the neighborhood. And by pests, I mean chipmunks that get inside of our house. But Willie would roam the neighborhood. People would let him inside and they would feed him. And that was defeating the purpose of him being an outdoor cat. The neighbors over here, they kept feeding him and kept taking care of him. So eventually, people who own the house were just like, do you want the cat? So Willie's there and occasionally I'll see him in the window. Whatever happened to sauerkraut? Occasionally I get this question and I wonder why. I still eat sauerkraut all the time. I haven't made it in a while. But I mean, I've still got a bunch left and I'm making some today. But I think something needs to be said, which is that just because you don't see something in the vlog does not mean that it does not happen. I don't film everything that I do. For example, did you know that I use baking soda for my deodorant? Because I do. It's extremely effective. In fact, it's unbelievably effective. I suggest you try it sometime.
There really is nothing like a shorn scrotum. It's breathtaking. I suggest you try it.
Maybe not everybody wants white powder all over their armpits and can get away with that, but I don't mind. Next question, whatever happened to coffee? I still drink coffee on occasion. Lately, I've mostly been drinking decaf because sometimes I like the taste of coffee, but the effects of caffeine are too extreme. With caffeine, I can function at these incredibly high levels. But without caffeine, I just get headaches and I'm useless. So I don't want to be seesawing back and forth like that, so I'd rather just live in a nice, creamy middle and then just try to stay as healthy as possible so that the middle is a higher middle than most middles. Okay, and I think that's most of what I can think of for right now. I will continue to think throughout the day and I will add more. Thursday, going camping with my nephew and my brother. That should be fun. And actually, this will be the first time that I've gone camping where I'm not filming an episode since we started the show. Actually, I know I'm gonna be filming it. It's not gonna be traditional AA style, and I'm only gonna be showing part of it in the vlog probably, but I wanna have a video that my nephew will be able to see when he's older, and my brother can of course watch it too. And this is going to be my nephew's first camping experience, so we're gonna try to make it a good one. I've taken one person camping for the first time before, and that was a long time ago. That was before we even started the show. In fact, that trip was the first time me and Andrew had tried to film a pilot for the show. It was my buddy Sean. We got into a mosquito nest and it rained and it was awful, and I've talked about it before, but I apologize again. That was a terrible first camping experience. Okay, I think that's probably juicy enough. It's time to fill. And you might be asking yourself, why am I not using the big crock? And that is because I did not make enough to fill the entire crock. And if you don't fill it all the way, it just doesn't work as well, it seems. I've not used these in a while, but they work just as well. In fact, they might even be easier to use. It's just that you can't store as much at once. You know, last night I was laying in bed and suddenly it occurred to me, I want to show you guys one of the best cinematic experiences that I had in my life. So this game is Final Fantasy VI. I'm sure I've talked about it before. The music in this game has inspired all of the music I've ever written. This game as a whole, the aesthetics and the adventure and the cinematic quality, it finally occurred to me while I was lying in bed yesterday. Adventure Archives is my attempt to recreate the feeling that I felt when I played this game as a kid. To this day, no game has made me feel the same sense of adventure and being in another world that this game did. And when we go to places for Adventure Archives, that feeling, and we don't go to different worlds or anything, but going to a new place and discovering what's out there and then actually having a journey that goes from A to B to C, it feels very much like what I experience when I play role-playing games like this. And really for me, any type of media that I consume, whether it's movies, TVs, video games, whatever, my favorite kind are the ones that take you on an adventure. Check out the intro to this game. It feels so right to me. Just even the sound effects and how the wind is howling, there's something about those primitive graphics that are evocative of something more than what was actually there. If you see at the bottom, all of those little houses in the cliffside, it just brings about this sense of, oh man, I wonder what the story is behind that. And just the fact that it's dark outside and it feels like they're really out somewhere in a snowy land and some adventure. And this is the beginning of the game. You don't know anything about any of these characters at this point. Oh, and then this part. The best song ever written for a video game as far as I'm concerned. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but this is not how I first experienced the game. The first time I experienced it, my buddy Brendan, his older brother, he's the one who showed it to both of us. But even then, just the whole aesthetic of the game, I was like, what is this game? And when I borrowed it and experienced this part, it's only years later, now that I'm looking back, how far ahead of its time this game was as far as cinematics. No other game was doing something like this at that point. But really, the experience that I get with this game is so exactly what I want to convey in the videos that I make. Specifically Adventure Archives, but I want to take you on that journey that there's a sense of unknown and kind of oh man, I don't know how to describe it, but it's that some adventure feeling where you're going on a journey. The happy ending is assured, obviously, especially with our videos. There's no conflict, but it's the feeling of what am I gonna see next? and what am I gonna hear, and how's it gonna look? I don't know. It sums it up perfectly, man. One of the best games ever made. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for today's vlog. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna floss and brush, and I'll see you tomorrow. I don't record it every time. I just chopped all these vegetables.